Alright, there we go. Sorry, I went to the wrong one for a hot second there. How is everyone doing tonight? Making sure everything is playing. Hopefully everything is good. Waiting for my face to appear on the live stream, cause there's a slight delay between when I hit the button and when it goes up. So hopefully you're hearing this song. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Bum ba dum ba dum ba ba loop ba doop boo boo. Hello everybody. Oh wow, that lighting is really weird today. Let me turn that down. Something like, wow, I'm like really pink. Is it just me or am I really pink today? It is like insanely pink in this shot. I don't know why the shot's so pink today. You're gonna deal with a pink Jessie. That's just what it is. It's how that's just how it's gonna be. It's Pink Jessie Day. That's what we're doing today. I feel like that matches what we're gonna be talking about. How is everyone? First off, I just want to say congratulations to Pedro. I saw that you said that you got your house, and that you got into your degree. That's amazing. That's so awesome. Thanks, Corey. I am glad that I'm glad you appreciate me being a giant dork. Yes, Pretty in Pink Lindsay. Hello, everybody. Geek Filter, Mega Wet Willy, Myriad Media Musings. I love the alliteration. Bacasta, Pedro, like I said. Cappuccino Crafts. Who else is in here? Jose Carlos. Fernanda, good to see you. Kathy. Don Nichols, Miss Wicked Wolf, good to see you too. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone's doing good. Miss Wicked Wolf, oh Jessie, Council of Geeks, still your hearts. You know, the hearts they always give out during your live streams. Council of Geeks, stealing my hearts. That means I can't do hearts anymore. No more hearts for anybody ever again. You're just trying to stir some stuff up. No, I love the hearts. The hearts are wonderful. Here, heart for everybody. In case everyone doesn't know, first off, everyone gets a heart. But if you do super chats or anything like that, you get a special heart from me. So hearts for super chats, but also hearts to everyone who is lovely and amazing. And hey, Vale, good to see you. Glad Vale is in the chat. Pastel and me. Oh, this is already the friendliest live stream, I can't even speak today, I've ever interacted with. Well, welcome. I hope you are lovely. Why did I suddenly stop being pink? What just happened? I'm just looking at this video and suddenly I'm like, I've done nothing. I've changed nothing. I'm just suddenly now not pink anymore. Literally nothing has changed in this room. I have no idea why this is. I don't know. We're not gonna question the lack of pink. It's all fine. God giveth the pink, and God taketh away. Whatever you want to do it, or whatever deity you wish to ascribe the pinkening to. Oh, wow! I feel really good. I was kind of worried up until about like 20 minutes ago. I was having a big I had a bit of a migraine, and I took a nap before this, and now I'm feeling so much better. All right, so now that I've said hello to everybody, what we're gonna be doing today, I'm gonna start off this with a little bit of kind of a topic. I do these sort of weekly live streams with no topic, and I just sort of hang out with everybody and we just see where things go. But I have to talk about something today because I don't know if I want to do a whole video on it. Maybe if I do something interesting, maybe if I say something interesting, I'll do a cutout of it. But I just kind of wanted to gush about these guys. But Geek Filter, thank you for the heart. Money for your lawsuit against Council of Geeks for use of your hearts. Well, here you go. We'll start this off together, this fight with Council of Geeks together. Here's a heart for you, Geek Filter. Also, everyone, give Geek Filter some support and love, because I was talking with Geek Filter earlier, and I know that he had a really long day doing a lot of work, being really creative too. Some of the stuff that he showed me, because Geek Filter and I know each other IRL, as the youth say. And we were texting each other, and he was just doing a lot of work, and he did some really cool design work. So just wanted to just say you are really appreciated, Geek Builder, and thank you for the super chat. So that heart is for you. All right. Well, so topic for today. What we are going to be doing is I just need to gush about these folks, cause look at them. Look at it. Look at these. Look at that guy right there. Look at. Oh wait, where's there? I've got to figure out. Look at that. Look at the blob. That, like I was saying in the thumbnail, number one, I am not playing the blob. I think people misinterpreted that. I would kill if I was a voice actor on Star Trek. I would love that. Let's make that happen. Someone tweet at Mike McMahon or don't actually, but or the showrunners of Star Trek Prodigy. I just want to be a red shirt in the background that just gets murdered. Anyways, that's a dream. But no, I'm not playing the blob. I just identify whatever. Okay, we're gonna start off here, everybody. So let me start this off right here, because I need to gush about this. Where did I bring this up? Where's this right here? Look at this. Okay, this blob right here, Nickelodeon logo and all. This blob right here is me. This is everything. This blob is everything that I've ever wanted to be in the world. There's nothing I have ever wanted to be more than this blob. It's just like, it's a blob, and I feel deep in my soul that I am a giant blob. But inside this blob, there's literally a galaxy. There's a galaxy. People. There's like a galaxy inside this blob. It's filled with like stars. And it's got a little smiley face. And it's purple and blue, which is like my aesthetic to a T. And it's just got a little smile. And it's got a big bulbous eyes. This blob, I'm legitimately crying a little bit because this blob is everything. I was joking, like, you know, I talked about in Star Trek Discoveries, like, I've always wanted a trans representation in Star Trek. Trans representation meant so much to me. And that is true. But I did not, that was what I've always wanted. This blob is what I did not know I needed in Star Trek, but I've always wanted. You know what they say? To give your audience what they want, but didn't know they wanted. This blob was that. So I just needed to gush about how much I adore this blob. But yeah, I want to just talk about all of these folks. For those of you who don't know, Star Trek Prodigy, there was no specific announcements. They just sort of released this image. Kind of reminds me of when they talked about Star Trek Lower Decks and they released the images of those characters. But all of these guys look really, really cool, and I kind of want to just gush about some of their designs from it, and then I just kind of want to talk about some of the responses to this that I've seen online that I might, and I want to try and make that a little clip out for my for our video, but we'll see if I actually do that, if I actually am coherent enough. But first off, let's talk about how these two look like straight up out of Avatar, and I think the creators of Star Trek Prodigy were working on an Avatar show, which is hilarious. But they look like Avatar, but they look so cool. I'm sure that these are probably going to be our central protagonists because they're probably going to be the most human-like looking. Also, that is something too, like, I legitimately love that, like, all of our main cast members in the show are all aliens. Like, legitimately, that is wonderful. We'll talk about that in a second. But this rock guy is like an owl. It's like a rock owl bear person. He just looks so lovely and sweet, and I want them to be the, like, sweetest person ever. And then there's been some debate, I know, from people, like, this guy looks like either a Tellarite or a what am I blanking on it? A Talaxian, right? Talaxian, that's the person who's, yes, Carlisle, the cinephile, you can totally be the big pink rock guy. They're all friend-shaped. I love that. That is wonderful, Ian Manning. But some people saying like Tellarite or Talaxian, which is possible. Talaxian, is that the right one? Phlox, whatever Phlox's character is. I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason. Phlox from Star Trek Enterprise. And then Janeway, yeah, Jose Carlos. Janeway is going to be on this show. Also, this person right here, this person looks like Gortys from, I know someone was saying Wheatley from Portal. People in my Discord were talking about that. But for me, this looks like Gortys from Tales from the Borderland. And for those of you who do not know Gortys, you just need to go look up, not now because I want you to stay on my stream, but after this, you need to go go watch like Gortys clips from Tales from the Borderlands in here on YouTube, because Gortys is the most adorable thing of all time. There is nothing more adorable than Gortys. So if you have not played Tales from the Borderlands, just legitimately go look up clips from of Gortys, because Gortys is the most adorable thing of all time. So, okay. So I just needed to gush about that for a minute, because this image looks so beautiful. I'm legitimately so excited for everything that Star Trek Prodigy is, which is going to bring me to, I just want to kind of have a little bit of a chat about this before I get into just the hangout stream that I usually do. Let me just jump into this right here. There we go. So I just want to say, like, I've seen, so I'm going to try and start this so I can like clip this out a little bit, but I've seen from a lot of reactions online. There's been a lot of like really positive reactions to Star Trek Prodigy, this image that's been released online, but I've also seen some people who have just like, it doesn't look like Trek. These are all, you know, none of them are established races. None of them are like anything. They're not Vulcans or anything like that. Number one, we don't know that for sure. As people have pointed out, one of those might be a Tellarite, which, by the way, we have not explored Tellarites in Star Trek. But number two, one of the reasons I'm so excited about this show is it looks like it's finally going to explore parts of Star Trek that we have never gotten to see before. I have talked in so many I have talked in so many videos before this about how Star Trek needs to move away from being just Starfleet focused. I like Starfleet, don't get me wrong. Starfleet is amazing, and I adore Starfleet to death. But also, there's always this tension underlying Star Trek of it being a show about prosperity and humans moving into a peaceful future where we pursue the best of ourselves, and then it being a show where, you know, you could argue all day about whether or not Starfleet is a military, but it is a military structure organization that does do military-esque things. Whether or not it is what we would consider a military is debatable. I would say it is, but it definitely does military-type things. And there's always been that underlying tension underneath it. So first things first, I know Janeway is going to be in the show, so there is going to be a Starfleet presence. There is going to be a character presence that we love. There is going to be a human that we can all identify with and also explore. But I am so excited to see a show that is going to focus on non-Starfleet characters within the Star Trek world. We need that. We need to see a Star Trek show that removes that tension from Star Trek and explores a different side of Star Trek if Star Trek's going to grow. Star Trek Picard started that a little bit, because it started to explore a more civilian set thing, but it still had characters that were like very Starfleet-esque. I mean, you had Picard, obviously. Rios was an ex-Starfleet member. So while it was more civilian-based, and I liked that quite a bit about Star Trek Picard, even though I had problems overall with that show, I love that this show is going to be much more expressly, just from these character designs. I might be presuming incorrectly about that, but just from these character designs, that we're not going to have a Starfleet Star Trek show. And that is amazing. Second thing, I adore that these are all aliens. That, like, I guess most of our Star Trek cast and Star Trek Prodigy are going to be aliens. And that is so cool. And non-established aliens, too. I mean, if Star Trek The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, even Discovery can have a new alien species pop up every 2 episodes with all they are just different spots in different places, we can have Star Trek Prodigy have a bunch of new alien races. It's a galaxy, right? They're all going to be different people, and I'm sure we're going to see familiar races. I'm sure a Vulcan's going to pop in there. But I'm so excited to see, like, the Star Trek creators, like, do something really kind of brave and, like, try to explore multiple different alien species within a show. That's a really brave thing. Like, most Star Trek shows were only about, like, oh, we'll mostly have humans, and we'll have, like, the 1 or 2 alien characters that we'll explore something different with, and we kind of won't do anything with in certain respects. So I think that that's just such a brave choice. And then the final thing with this show that I am so excited for is that it's going to be a show for kids. One of the things that I love Star Trek, don't get me wrong, but it is a franchise that has been very insular for a very long time. It hasn't, it has brought in new fans, but in, like, weird ways. Like, Star Trek 2009, the Kelvin films brought in new Star Trek fans. Discovery kind of brought in new Star Trek fans, but it was still a little bit more secluded in terms of, like, it being on a streaming service that no one really had, it being sort of, like, kind of based in a lot of Star Trek mythos, like Spock, so, like Michael Burnham being Spock's sisters, things like that. So I'm glad that this is going to be a Star Trek show that'll be, like, a new entry point to getting people into Star Trek, and I think that that is just so cool. And the final bit that I want to end on before we just finish hanging out in the live stream here, is I get so frustrated with so many people prejudging a show. I mean, I know I'm gushing about it, so that is in a way kind of prejudging the show with my excitement for it. But I'm also I want to take this show for what it is and come in for what it is and just give it a chance for what it is. And I've seen so many reactions like, this doesn't look like Star Trek. This looks entirely like this doesn't fit into it. These aren't established races. It's like, there's a lovely quote from Leonard Nimoy that I'm going to butcher, but I'm going to slightly paraphrase, where he says, like, let Star Trek, don't worry about canon, like, let Star Trek show where it's going to take you now, let Star Trek show you something new, because that's what it is. It's all about exploring strange new worlds. And so I think we should just take new shows as they come, and not to say that you're going to love it or like it. You may hate Star Trek Prodigy. It also may not be for you because it's a kid show or things like that. I generally like kid shows. I love She-Ra, one of my favorite shows. But just take it as it comes. And I think that it will we will allow you to explore things. I don't think we get so caught up in, like, is this Star Trek enough? Is this going to be a good entry in the franchise? Is this going to be excellent? Is it going to measure up to the whole franchise? And, like, I understand that that's part of what franchises do, that we're so excited about them because they are part of franchises. But I also just like taking shows on their own terms and asking what this show wants me to say and what the show is asking me to see with on its own terms, rather than comparing it to other shows. So I think that that's what we need to do for Star Trek Prodigy. Give it a chance. But I'm also just, to be honest with you, I'm just so excited for it because I think it's going to do so many different things that I've wanted personally in a Star Trek. It's got the Blob, and I am just that Blob. That Blob makes me smile so much. I already know it's going to be my favorite character. Maybe not, but we'll see. But I think we'll finally have a chance to just see where Star Trek's going to take us. And so I just wanted to kind of give that little take on Star Trek Prodigy. Hopefully that was good enough for me to clip out and make a separate YouTube video and be lazy and not have to do a whole setup for it. But if not, I'll just leave it here in the live stream. Anyways, now that I have ranted enough, let me hang out in the live chat just in time. I see Captain of Geeks. I was going to say Captain of Geeks. Council of Geeks, good to see you. Good to see you here. And just in time for a super chat from John Dorsey. Now we're just going to hang out in the live stream here, and I'm just going to talk to all of you. So, John, thank you so much for the super chat. This heart is for you. I am greatly appreciative of you. For those of you who have joined us, if you do a super chat, you get a heart, and this heart is for you, John. And apparently, Council of Geeks stole my heart idea. I'm calling you out. Well, Wicked Wolf called you out earlier, Council of Geeks, but now I'm calling you out. Gonna bring you. Gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you. Put up the fisticuffs, yeah. All right, John. Your question: are you low-key Captain America? I mean, the casual shield in the room makes me suspicious. I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing to see here. There is nothing in this room to see. I am definitely not Captain America. No. I just that shield, they were having a sale on Amazon for the shield, and I'm like, I can justify that purchase for a video, especially since Captain America the Winter Soldier is coming up. So since it was on sale and I could probably justify it I could probably use it for some cosplay stuff for videos and things like that, I had to get that. It's legit. Here, I'm going to just show everybody because it's legitimately very cool. Oh my gosh, I will go get it. I'm very excited about this thing. Also, you're going to see me in my blanket because I'm a grandmother. I am like 90 years old, so I'm just like, I'm sitting here with a blanket. Alright. Headphones back on, fix my hair because I'm vain. Alrighty. But yeah, take a look at this thing. It was It's like it's like legit heavy, and it's got like the straps in the back. Just like strap your arm in. It's like, yeah, hex yeah. Now I just gotta throw it, right? Just gotta throw it and see if it rebounds back. Like if I just throw it in this room, who wants me to just toss it in this room and just see if it bounces back to me? Because that's how that works, right? That's how physics works. I'm gonna put this back over here. But yes, thank you, John, for that super chat. I don't know, my voice cracked in the middle of that. Thank you, John. John, you're great. Jessie Gender versus Council of Geeks, Dawn of Geekiness, Bacasta. I appreciate that. We'll get a Snyder cut of us fighting. Be dour and depressing. Jessie needs some knitting needles to go with the lap blanket. Yeah, I agree. Well, let me just... Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jessie's knitting stream. St. Beatles asks, where did you get the flag? I'm assuming you're talking about the trans flag there. That is from a friend of mine who I met, who I actually didn't know super well until I bought the flag, and then I've actually met them here in Seattle. But if you look up Admiral Bongwater, that's their name on Twitter. But if you look up Admiral Bongwater on Twitter, they have a shop that sells this along with many other items that I would very much recommend. They have, I think they have like one for most, if not all, of the sexuality flags, or at least the sort of the big ones. So you can get the Federation flag with that, but obviously I had to get the trans flag because yes, hell yes. Join us in 2 minutes to watch Jessie knock herself out or break a hole in her wall. Probably both. Cade MacArthur, Newt. I actually wonder. Let me see if he'll be. You're gonna see my lap blanket again. Let me just get untangled here. Let's see if I can get Newt to come. Newt generally comes if I start singing. So let's just see if that happens. Leave the door open. I don't know why this is the case, but Newt, for some reason... Why did you say Martha, Ian? If I sing, Newt will come. So let's just see. Let's just see. Come here, my cat, I am singing to you. Are you going to come, my dear? Come here, my cat, I am singing a song. Are you going to come? No, he's not. Now I look. Oh, there he is. Hi. Told you. If I sing, I don't know why, but if I sing, he comes. Come here, bud. Come on. I'm gonna move the blanket. Come here. Do you want to say hi to the peoples? Come say hi to the peoples. To your adoring fans. They only want you. They don't want me. So there he is. Look at this. Well, Council Geeks, I hope you're feeling better. But hey, Newt, he just wants to look down. He doesn't want to look at the camera. Told you that he would come if I called. Let's see if he'll stay on my lap. He might run away. Because he usually doesn't. If I pick him up and put him in my lap, he usually doesn't stay because he doesn't like that. But he might stay now. You gonna stay, bud? You gonna stay? Here he is. I guess he might stay. That's actually surprising. So yeah. Oh, he's actually... He might hang out with us for a bit. And feel better, Council Geeks. Vera. So. Sending scritches. Well, Newt appreciates the scritches, Callie. Told you all that this would work. It's so weird. It's so weird that Newt just... I don't know why he likes my singing voice. I don't know why. But he does. Jessie, just say that you're going to record an Enterprise podcast, LOL Wellington. Yes, for those of you who don't know, over on my Patreon, I do a Star Trek Enterprise rewatch podcast where I sort of rewatch episodes of Star Trek Enterprise. That's what that would be. But for some reason, every single time that I start a podcast, without fail... Oh, is he gonna run away? Oh, gotta be careful because I don't want him to... He was about to step on the power button for the computer. That would be bad. But he is jumping away. He's going to hang out. Oh, he's going to hang out behind the computer. Hopefully, please don't turn off the computer. If my computer closes off for a minute, it might be because Newt's behind it. So, apologies in advance, folks. But no, I do a Star Trek Enterprise rewatch podcast, and every single time without fail, every time I set up to do that podcast, Newt comes in and starts bumping on the mic and doing things. So it's a very high quality podcast. But if you don't mind me self-promoting a little bit, it's my channel. That's what you're here for. If you do want to listen to me and Newt rewatching a Star Trek Enterprise, give some help over on Patreon, because that gets you access to that. But anyone know the song that's in Jessie is using in the background? It says Obsession Overdose. The music in the background is actually from Star Trek Online. Weirdly enough, a game I have not played, but I figured it fits my channel pretty well. It's kind of chillaxing and fun. Now, just to show you, is he still back there? Where is he? Yeah, I'm gonna show you. This is what's going on behind my computer right now. By the way, everybody. Let's see if you can see him there. There it is. Newt. I can't really get a good angle on him. There he is. Hi, Newt. Say hi to your adoring fans. As you hide behind my computer. Don't know why. Don't know why you like it back there, but that's where he is. Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much for the super chat there, Langley M. Neely. This heart is for you, Langley. I really appreciate you. Sending you all the love. Excuse me. You are lovely and amazing, and I really appreciate the super chat. Based on the brief descriptions, Captain Janeway teens on a derelict ship. Excuse me. Could Janeway be an ECH, emergency command hologram on Star Trek Prodigy? Yes, I could totally see that. It's possible. I mean, we don't, from what I can tell, I might have missed this, but I don't think we know when Star Trek Prodigy is set. So theoretically, she could just be a hologram on the ship. I don't know if she would necessarily be an ECH. She might be. My guess would be if they went the hologram route, what they would do is, like, they would have this derelict ship, and they're just like, we need someone to help teach us how to run the ship. Computer, put up one of Starfleet's best captains, and plops on Captain Janeway to be their sort of like random captain that they get to have help them. That would be probably my guess is how that would go if they went that way. I mean, that would make the most sense, right? Because I doubt that, like, the actual Captain Janeway would be on a derelict ship with all of these people. Actually, now that I think about it, they're probably, if my guess would be, this is just wild speculation here, but my guess would be is that they are probably lost. They have this derelict ship, they're lost in space, and they're like, well, give us a captain who has experience being lost in space. And you get Captain Janeway. Makes perfect sense. So I could totally see that, because, yeah, it wouldn't make a ton of sense that it would be Janeway hanging out with a bunch of children when she's got admiral things to do, or is dead, depending on when the show is set. If it's set after, if it's set in the 25th or 26th century, we don't necessarily know the setting of the episode, but that would be my guess of what the show would be. But we'll sort of see how it all shakes out. Carlisle the Cinephile, thank you so much for the super chat. Heart for you. Carlisle is a regular here, and I adore you very much, Carlisle, and I'm so glad to hear that you're doing better too. It could be an earlier Janeway, says Jaboogie. I could see that too, especially in animated form. They have a chance to explore younger Janeway's history, which is also possible. But Carlisle asks no question or anything, so ask nothing. You ask nothing, Carlisle. Just wanted to say you're awesome, and because I crave validation in the form of hearts. Well, you are awesome yourself, Carlisle, and here's an extra heart for you, for your validation. So, sending you love, and thank you so much for the super chat. You lovely, lovely human. Okay. Yeah, I assumed Janeway would be a hologram as well. Everyone's on the hologram train. I mean, there would be a certain irony in that. That would be kind of interesting, right? That because she spent so kind of long taking time to understand the humanity of the Doctor, over on Star Trek Voyager. So it'd be kind of funny if if she was a hologram in this show, and so it sort of takes her time to sort of be like, oh crap, am I a sentient sapient being? This stream is not sponsored by Arizona. I should probably like, here, you don't I don't know how I'm gonna have to like drink out of the side. Yeah. There's no sponsorships in this video. You don't get free sponsorships, Arizona. Don't buy Arizona tea. I'm a terrible promoter. Let's see. I could totally see Gary Mitchell as Trek's Professor Xavier training New Mutants. Yeah, I could totally see that too. They did a great storyline with Gary Mitchell over in the Kelvin Timeline comics. IDW did this great line of Kelvin Timeline comics, and Gary Mitchell shows up in there that I really enjoyed. Though I always still, well, goodbye, Lizamundo. It was nice to see you. It was, what was I trying to say? I totally blanked. I just spaced on what I was just about to say. Totally forgot. I literally got in there and it was just like, whee, nope, bye, goodbye. I didn't need you anyways. So. I used to love that tea. Now we're on talking to tea. Any other questions from the folks out there in the chat land? Isn't Superman an alien? Oh, Gary Mitchell. We were talking about Gary Mitchell. Gary Mitchell. That's what I wanted to say. The Gary Mitchell Kelvin Timeline story is great, but I've argued this before in other videos, but I really think that Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Trek Into Darkness should have been Gary Mitchell. Would have made so much more sense, because the problem with that is that when there's a few things wrong with Star Trek Into Darkness, but to have this little rant right here, the part of the problem that people noted was that in that universe, no one knows who Khan is. So when Benedict Cumberbatch says, like, my name is Khan, we as the audience are like, gasp, Khan! But the characters don't really care about that, because they don't, it's like, okay, who the hell is Khan? So number one, if you had made him Gary Mitchell, that would have given, because Gary Mitchell and Kirk were they were Starfleet, they were friends at Starfleet Academy. So you would have already had a built-in connection of, like, Kirk was like, oh, shoot, my Starfleet friend is committing these acts of treason. And that sort of gives him a sort of personal instigation into going this. And the very fact that he would have killed Pike would have been like, my best friend killed Pike. Why? Why would he do such a thing? This is awful and horrible. And so it sort of gives Kirk, like, this interesting moral dilemma within there. Also, the thing with making it Gary Mitchell, and you could have even hidden that it was Gary Mitchell until the reveal on Kronos, like when they catch him on Kronos, like, oh shoot, it's Gary Mitchell. And Kirk's like, oh crap, this is my friend, so now I have conflicted emotions. Why would my friend do this? And then that sort of sets up the sort of interesting sort of thing with Admiral Marcus in the fight there. Also, it kind of gets away from the fan, it like does the fan servicey thing, but in a way that's like well done, in my opinion. Because the problem I have with a lot of like fan service in everything, not just Star Trek, is when it like kind of is like, hey, you all know this thing too. You get right. You know it. You got it right. You beat you over the head with the the reference. Everyone knows this reference, right? And like stops the show to show it to you. Whereas if you make it Gary Mitchell is someone who like Trekkies would know, and be like, oh cool, it's Gary Mitchell. That's a really cool thing. But he's not so well known that like modern audiences would like be like, oh yeah, Gary Mitchell, I know that. So it's like a fun fan reference that like if you were in the know on Star Trek, you'd be like, that's cool. But if you didn't know Star Trek, you could still understand like, oh, Gary Mitchell is a childhood friend of Kirk's. Like you could understand the emotional through line even if you don't get the reference, which I think is a much smarter way of doing that. And it also sets up this cool like parallel between Kirk and Gary Mitchell, right? Because then you have you have this sort of Kirk being raised by Admiral Pike, and then you have Gary Mitchell being raised by Admiral Marcus, and sort of the conflicting sort of like the view of the militarization of Starfleet that Admiral Marcus has versus the sort of prosperous view of Starfleet that Pike has, and how that's filtered down into Pike and into Kirk and Mitchell respectively. So I would have liked that. Anyways, Corey, sending you and Vale a heart. Thank you so much for the super chat. You are lovely, lovely, lovely. Sending you this heart. Thank you to both of you for being truly lovely folks. I do want to say before I even read your super chat that I want to thank you, and to anyone who is here in the chat. As I kind of mentioned back on my Wednesday video about Gina Carano, I kind of mentioned that I was getting a lot of harassment from a lot of people on my kind of initial Gina Carano video, and a lot of it was kind of being targeted at me because I'm trans, which, you know, that's what happens whenever you're publicly trans on the internet, which sucks, but it is what it is. But I was, it doesn't really affect me that much most of the time, but just because I was also dealing with other stuff that day, my mental health like took a hit, and it was kind of a rough day for me. And I shared that in the Discord server, and Corey and Vale and a few other people as well were quick to jump on and send love. So if you are any of the folks that were in Legacy of Lore, I don't know if you listened to this, but if any of you were in the Discord and send stuff, that really meant a lot. So thank you to everybody for that. I really do appreciate that. Anyways, I should read what Corey actually sent. Jessie, the offsite learning option our district employs is awful, really failing our kids. Oh, I'm sorry. We're decided to homeschool starting Monday. Wish us luck. Well, I am sorry that the offsite learning option is awful. That sucks. But I am wishing you luck on homeschooling your kids. That's you two are going to do an awesome job. I know. Oop, Newt's leaving behind the computer. You two are both going to do an awesome job. And I really believe in you, and just make sure to take care of yourselves as well. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stress and a lot of work, and I know you're going to give them lots of love and attention, but also like make sure to give yourselves love and attention too. So yeah, I wish you nothing but the best of luck to both of you. You are both going to do excellently, and I wish you nothing but wonderful things, and your kids nothing but wonderful things too. So all right. Hey, I want to be open online as trans. How do you make sure that you aren't affected by the transphobic attack, says Special Snowflaker. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The unfortunate thing is that being trans online means that you're probably going to experience some level of that at some point. Newt was like attacking my wire from behind the computer here. I love you, bud. That's the unfortunate thing. There are ways to mitigate it. Number one, the first way is just like making sure you're careful with your spaces of where you're open and where you're out. So, you know, if you're on Twitter, just make sure the people that you follow are trans or inclusive, trans supportive. You know, you can generally tell that by if people include pronouns in their profile, things like that. Or people just say it, or you just generally know people. So that's part of it. And same thing with Facebook, like groups that you join, just make sure you're like sort of checking that and things like that. It sucks that that sort of work falls on us, on trans people, to do that work. But that's unfortunately, sadly, the society that we live in. Two other things that I'll say on that, though, on that note. First thing on that is, number one, always realize that when you do get that harassment, it's bullshit. That isn't to say that you don't listen to criticism or critique. Like, for me, like, when I get, like, criticism or critique in my videos, like, I try to listen to it. But whenever I get someone saying, like, oh, I'm not even going to say what they're going to say because I don't want to put it on the stream. But people will they'll send, like, the same, because it's the thing. It's the same 5 or 6 things that they say over and over and over again. No matter, there's, like, I see, like, hundreds of them, and it's always the same 4 or 5 points. And that just tells me, it's like, it has nothing to do with me. It has zilch to do with me. Because they're talking about this like random image of a trans person that they have in their head. It has zilch to do with who I am and what I am. It's everything to do with them. and them wanting to come in and hurt somebody because it makes them feel more powerful. And there are numerous reasons why they want to do that. I would generally say most of the time I have found, this is just anecdotal, but I have found it's usually because they're dealing with stuff. And that's not to say that you have to empathize with them. That just because someone else is dealing with crap does not give them the right to harass somebody else. Now, some trans people, I've done this before, some trans people will try and take it, it's like, hey, what's going on? You're coming here to harass me. Is there something going on with you? But that's not always a safe thing to do, because sometimes they'll double down on hatred, anything like that. And you don't want to put yourself in that vulnerable position all the time. It's sometimes worth it to do, but you can't always tell that, and it's by no means something that trans person ever should feel they have to do. But it is all. But long story short, anyways, I'm sorry, getting sidetracked here. Whenever you see that harassment targeted at you because you're trans, always know that it has zilch to do with you. Literally, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. The only thing that has to do with you is that you're trans. But the very fact that they're being mean, cruel, saying that type of harassing thing has nothing to do with you. You are freaking amazing and beautiful, or whatever, qualifier that you want to use. But you are a beautiful person inside and out. No matter what, you are. Being trans is... we can talk about the sociological and all this other stuff with being trans. By the way, Bottom Barrel Budget Films, I see your super chat, and here's a heart for you. And I'll read that out in just a second, but I want to finish the point. All being trans really is, if we just sort of leave out the gender theory and sociology and all that stuff, all being trans is you showing yourself more of the beauty of your soul to the world. That is all it is being brave enough to show something that you are, that piece of yourself to the world. And that is a beautiful thing. That is an absolutely beautiful thing. And you being trans and you letting other people know that you are trans is a gift that you give to everyone else. And it's a gift that you give to yourself too. And that's not to say that people who are cis can't also that cis people experience this same sort of feeling in different ways. Trans people experience this through their gender. We experience it through how we express ourselves through our gender. But all of us, every single one of us, every single human being experiences some form of anxiety about their identity. Whether it's weight, whether it's appearance, whether it's being good enough at work. Whether it's all of us experience this anxiety and about our identity in the world. And it's all just the gift that we give to the world is being brave enough to show ourselves more to the world and show who we are more to the world. And the more that you show to the world of who you are in an authentic way, that is beautiful and that is brave. And I know that sounds cliche, but it is absolutely freaking true. It is absolutely freaking true. This world is so cruel to people, and to show the world that beauty, to be brave enough to show the world that beauty is just amazing. And it makes you awesome. And so if everyone whenever someone harasses you for that, number one, no, it's bullshit. Number two, that is them being denied a gift that you have given them. And that's on them. That is 100% on them. They are rejecting a gift that you gave them, and that's their own problem to deal with. You gave the gift, and it's up to them to accept it or not, but you gave them a gift. So yeah. There's obviously a whole lot more to that, obviously, because being trans, there's a lot of complexity to it, but the base feeling of it is that all we're doing as humans is just trying to be brave enough to show ourselves to the world. Trans, cis, whoever. So, but thank you. Everyone's being so kind in the chat. Sending you all hearts to everybody for all of that. I know I missed I missed a few super chats, so let me just get back to them. Bottom Barrel Budget Films, number one, I gave you one earlier, but here's a heart for you. Bottom Barrel Budget Films, sending you a heart. We love you, trans queen of Trekkies. You're rad AF. Thank you so much. I'll take the title Queen of Trekkies, except for that might be Queen Arachna or Arachnia. Is that what it was? But thank you. I really appreciate that. You are lovely. Fada, thoughts on the dust-up in Congress with Marjorie Taylor Greene and her evil sign, but then the House passed the bill. I do understand if you don't want to discuss. I totally will. Number one, Fada, here's a heart for you. I actually was thinking of doing a video on this, but I guess I'll just do it on a stream so I can save myself the anxiety of having to do another video this week, because by the time I share this video, by the time I get around to making the video, that probably won't be in the talking points anyways. But quick, I see more super chats, and I will get to both of those in just a hot second. But to address this one really briefly, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, the thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene and that whole thing in Congress that went on. For those of you who don't know, Marjorie Taylor Greene obviously has said some transphobic things in the past, and she has an office right across the hall from another House representative, Democrat from. I forget the representative, but she has a transgender daughter, and so she put up a transgender flag in the hallway across from Marjorie Taylor Greene's office as a sort of like kind of screw you, because of Marjorie Taylor Greene's lack of support for the equality bill that just passed today. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is like quoted as like it's religious rights and all that stuff, the same sort of thing that people peddle when you're trying to deny equality rights to marginalized groups, any marginalized group. It's always about religion or some such thing like that when it goes against what religion is all about and being wanted to be open and accepting of other people, but that's beside the point. So because of that, Marjorie Taylor Greene put up a sign that said, you know, there are only two genders. Transphobic sign. It's funny, and it's also funny because like the thing that also gets me with that only two genders thing, that is directly offensive and denying that non-binary people exist, but it's not denying that trans people exist, by the way, because there can be binary identified trans people. So when you put up a sign that's like there are only two genders, you're not denying that trans people exist. You're just denying that non-binary people exist, which is, as a non-binary person, still pisses me right the hell off. But you're like not even doing the thing that you're like intending to do. So it's just baffles my mind, the lack of like awareness. Like if you're gonna be hateful, like freaking know how to do it properly. Anyways, that's beside the point. Still pisses me off either way. But it kind of goes back to the same thing that we were talking about with Gina Carano earlier this week too. Is like this cycle of stuff that perpetuates itself, but how that like the inequality of how that harm comes down to it. Because like there's a distinct difference between Gina Carano and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is distinctly way worse because she is a person in a political place of power. Gina Carano is just a girl making movies and TV shows, whatever. I mean, like, there's importance to that, but it's much less than like a politician, right? But this cycle just starts happening, right, over and over again, where like one person goes after another person goes after another person, and it sort of heightens the emotions, and everything starts getting heightened and attacked, and there's no actual conversation that happens in between. So now Marjorie Taylor Greene's further in her side, and this other person, and it just goes back to the hyperbolization of everything in politics. In all of our conversations. The other thing too that I hinted at in my Gina Carano video that I kind of want to touch upon, that this situation shows much more though, is that Marjorie Taylor Greene takes it as like, oh, she even said this, like, I've been attacked because of like them putting up a trans flag. It's like, no, you have not been attacked. You're taking it personally, you're making it about yourself. You don't understand that like the things that you do harm so many more people. And yes, you may feel hurt and attacked, and it may push you further into your beliefs, but your beliefs harm so many other people. It's much more than about your feelings, right? It's about you hurting marginalized groups with your words and your ability to make political decisions. You have a vote in Congress that affects how people live their lives. And this personal BS that's like, oh, I feel attacked, just annoys the crap out of me, because it's like it's all about ego. I'm not making myself clear, and I feel like there's much more I could be kind of clearer about this. It just, this cycle just annoys me constantly and perpetually. I'm trying to be kind of clear about it, but I guess I'm trying to do it. End of the day, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a crazy person, just to kind of put it out there. Like, I wish there was a way to like have there are some politicians that I think that you can have conversations with. Marjorie Taylor Greene just seems like someone who doesn't seem like she wants to, because she's just sort of in that hyperbolicized echo chamber and only wants to stay there. Yeah, I don't know. There's much more to say about it, and I guess I'd have to sort of like collate my thoughts a little bit more on that. But long story short, Marjorie Taylor Greene is perpetuating terrible and harmful stereotypes and pushing against a bill that brings equal rights to marginalized groups that I'm a part of. but has long since been needed in this country. So, I hope that some of that makes sense. Sorry, I missed some of the super chat going on here. But I did miss, there's 2 super chats. Catherine Lambeth. Well, thank you, Catherine Lambeth. Great Kirk speech, sending you a heart. I really appreciate that. Risk is our business. But sending you a heart. Thank you so much, Catherine Lambeth. And thank you for being a Patreon, too. Because I know you're also a Patreon. So I just wanted to say that to that. I'm going to say this wrong, but Simric. Hopefully I said that right. Simric, thank you so much for your super chat. Always good vibe stream. I got a little negative there at one point, but sending you a heart as well for that. So, and I just saw This Glorious Clockwork. Good to see you. This Glorious Clockwork, you are amazing as well. Good to see you. Yep, the representative put out the trans flag has a daughter. And Jay, you rock, Jessie. Thank you for everything. Well, thank you, Jay. We're both J people. Sending you a heart. Yeah, there's like I said, I this is why I don't necessarily speak off the cuffs so directly about like politics. Not because I don't want to, because I just like being precise in what I'm going to say about something, in terms of stuff like that. Because I have many thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene that it's just like hard to like coalesce because there's so many of them. So, anyways. Thank you everyone for the super chats and all of that. So, and I'm sorry I missed some of the comments. Carlisle the Cinephile at Jessie Gender, which is the better WandaVision bop, the Bewitch inspired theme, or Agatha All Along? I've been playing Agatha All Along in my head for like a week. I'm not even gonna sing because I don't want to get copyright, but it was all along, they're both really good. They're all really good, but Agatha All Along just like legitimately like got wormed its way into my brain, so hard. So I could not get that out at all. Misgendering can be on accident or on purpose. Yeah, misgendering can be both on accident and on purpose. The thing with misgendering, like, I'm trying to like think of like the best way. Mr. Good, both of you are lovely. Yeah, the thing with misgendering that people get wrong, and I think most people here will understand this, but the thing that people get wrong about misgendering is that people are like, oh, well, you get misgendered once and it's going to send you into this like terrible spiral of like depression or whatever. It's like, no. What happens with misgendering is that when someone is misgendered, and I've talked about this in a video, is that with misgendering, it's something that piles on over time. Because every time when you identify as like a woman and people misgender you over and over again, every time that someone misgenders you, it's them saying, it intentionally or not, it is them saying they don't fully see you. We talked earlier about how trans is being brave enough to like show the world who you are, and it's when people misgender you, again, intentionally or not, it is them just saying they don't completely see you. They don't like. Think about how every time. Think of how beautiful it is. How much it like moves your heart when someone says like legitimately sits there and looks at you and says, "I see you. You are seen. I appreciate the totality of who you are." That seems like such a simple statement, but it moves, like every time I hear that from someone who just like means, especially in moments where I'm having a hard time, to hear someone just say those words means the world to me, because we crave being seen. We crave to just, we are complex beings that have so much going on in our head that we just feeling like we are seen means the world to us. That's every single person. And so every time that someone misgenders you, it's just a small little reminder that that person, whether they are intending to or not, just doesn't completely see you. They don't understand who you are in this moment. And that's fine. Like, someone misgenders you once, it's whatever. Most of the time, unless someone's doing it deliberately, and that's a different conversation to have. But like a small misgendering, It happens, you know, it's whatever, you know, we screw up someone's name in conversations, like, sorry, I mispronounced your name. It's like, it's the same thing with mispronouncing names. Like, you mispronounce your name, we'll get over it. But if someone can repeatedly mispronounce your name over and over again, it just means they're not seeing you, and it's disrespectful to you because they're just not respecting you as a person. Same thing with misgendering. And so it just builds up over time. And so, you know, yes, maybe 1 misgendering is fine, 2 misgendering is fine. But like the 30th, 40th, especially if it's from the same person, because if the same person misgenders you over and over again, whether or not they're doing it intentionally, that can really hurt. Because it's just like, why are you not seeing me? I've told you a million times. It hurts. That hurts. But also, they can build up over and over and over again through multiple people. Like, if I go into a Starbucks and one person misgenders me, it's fine. Maybe I go into another store, someone misgenders me. It's like, oh, God, that's fine too, but I just got misgendered twice today. And you go and do it like a 3rd or 4th, 5th, like over and over in the day until finally the 10th person who has only done it once misgenders you once, but you've experienced it 10 times that day or that week or whatever. And you're just like, oh my God, stop, that really hurts, it really hurts. And so sometimes people get like unfairly sort of like vomited on the stress that someone is feeling from misgendering from multiple sources, but that's just sort of like how microaggressions sort of things happen like that. It sort of like builds up over time. So that's the thing with misgendering. Why like accidental misgendering is a big deal, but most of the time, like, most trans people will be understanding, like, especially on a mental level, most trans people will understand, like, if you misgender me on accident, it happens, it occurs. I misgender, like, people all the time. Like, I've misgendered people, like, accidentally, like, many times. It happens. But so mentally, most trans people understand that it happens from time to time. It occurs. It's just a thing. Even with non-trans people, even with cis people, that occurs. But it just builds up. And so emotionally, every once in a while, you just like, it's like a cup filling with water, and every time like someone misgenders you, the cup starts to get filled. And sometimes you'll be able to empty it on your own, but sometimes it just gets to a point where you can't empty it and it just overflows. You're like, I'm angry and upset, and it hurts when you either have a breakdown or an explosion, some sort of emotional catharsis to sort of like release all that energy. Now if someone's deliberately misgendering you, that's just them being a jerk, and jerks can stop. Like, I have more patience than most for jerks, because I'll take it and like try to have a conversation and try and divert the feeling that they're feeling, because they're obviously dealing with their own stuff, and have a conversation. But not everyone needs to deal with jerks, and also it's all on them. If they're being a jerk, that's them being a jerk. But that the misgendering thing can still build up, and if it's intentional, that fills the cup up farther, to keep using that metaphor. So, I also saw a super chat in here. John Dorsey, thank you so much for your super chat, sending you a heart. This heart is for you. You are beautiful and amazing, John Dorsey. No joke, thank you for teaching me about trans issues, and also your Trek content is fabulous. Your skits with Steve are a riot. Cheers, my dear. Well, thank you so much, John. I really appreciate that. I'm glad I'm teaching about trans issues, and I'm glad you're enjoying the Star Trek content. I want to do more stuff with Steve. I have the next one with Steve planned in terms of like what I want to do. I have just not had any. To be fair though, that one it's going to be a complicated one. Like, I generally have beated it out. Bad phrasing, but I know all the beats of that story that the next video is going to be, but it's going to take me a bit of time to write it, because it is a bit more of a complicated one that I have in my mind, and because of that, it's just I have had no time between doing YouTube full-time and the other job full-time, so I'm hoping to be able to do that, get Ensign Cricket back up in here, but more than likely it either will not happen for a few more months, or if I get to do this full-time, if that happens, which might, well, I'll leave that on the side, because who knows who's watching from a full-time job. But if I'm able to do full-time, the YouTube full-time, then I might be able to do it sooner. But it will come at some point in the next few months, but I don't know when it will be. So. I mean, Monarch, Cade, what's the gender-neutral name for a monarch? Monarch. I guess Monarch kind of gendered, but Monarch is gender neutral. That's the word right there, isn't it? Let's see. What are your thoughts on the end of Daft Punk? I'm very sad. I'm very sad about it. I'm actually a huge Daft Punk fan. They were one of my first bands that like really, really spoke to me when I was younger. Like Interstellar 5555, the animated movie based on the Discovery album. One of my favorite like animated movies of all time. Tyrant Pedro, that's a good one. So I legitimately love their stuff. I legitimately love like this one of their songs. Why am I blanking on it? Digital Love honestly like was one of the songs that like got me through high school. And I always kind of had a dream of, and Tron Legacy album too, by the way. All of their albums are great, Random Access Memories, things like that. But I always had like a dream of seeing them in concert, and I'm like very upset. I'm very upset that that probably will not be the case, unless maybe in 20 years from now they do like a random concert or something like that. And if they do, I will pay buttloads of money to see that. But yeah, that was kind of a dream to see them in concert, to get that experience, and I'm kind of sad that I'll never be able to. But you know, I mean, in terms of for them, so there's a bit of a sadness on that part, but that's sort of a selfish thing. I mean, if they want to move me like into a new phase of their life, you know, they've been doing it for 20-30 years. They've revolutionized that entire genre of music. So like, what more can you do if you're not feeling inspired to do it anymore? I totally understand being like, all right, we certainly left our mark, and it's time for us to move on. It's like, understandable, totally get it. That makes perfect sense to me. So, yeah. Harder, better, faster, stronger. I agree. And hey, Brian, good to see you. Prodigy reveals give me. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I could definitely get some Monsters vs. Alien vibes from it. I got a lot of Troll Hunters vibes from it too. So, what's the best concert you all have been to? I think the best concert I have been to, I got to see the Shins in concert, which was really cool. The Shins were great. I'm a huge The Shins fans. Ooh, the Decemberist. Actually, Metallica I saw in concert. Metallica was good, but I think, and the Shins were great. Their production design, because they did it for their most like recent album or something like that. Their production design was amazing. Their sort of sets, awesome. But I think the best concert I ever saw was the Decemberists. I got to see the Decemberists in concert, and they were so good. So good. They were absolutely wonderful. So I think the Decemberists probably were my favorite concert ever. They did the Rake song, which just I had entered into a marriage in the summer of my 21st year. So I was trying to like. And the bells rang for our wedding. Only now do I remember it clear. All right. All right. All right. And because I'm singing, Newt has come out to play. Hi, Newt. Did the singing bother you? He's like, all right, that singing wasn't good. All right. I have got to, and I'm gonna probably end the stream here, mostly because I have got to go have some dinner, and then I'm actually filming a video tonight. I'm gonna be filming a video for Monday about, just so give you a little bit of a scoop. My Monday video is gonna be on Superman and Lois, because I really liked Superman and Lois. That's the spoiler. And I want to talk about it, so I'm going to be filming that video. I'm going to have dinner, film that video, and then sort of like veg until WandaVision goes up. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoys WandaVision tonight. That video will hopefully go up in just a little bit. Don't forget, tomorrow I have the video on Sia's music that will be premiering at, I think, noon. It's going to go up a little bit later because I have some work stuff that'll be going on before then. So the video is going to premiere at noon. WandaVision will go up hopefully tonight, unless something weird happens. And that's it. Yeah, and then I'm not doing, I might do some more drunk streaming of Half-Life 2 this weekend. We'll sort of see. I might have some plans Saturday night, but they might have just fallen through. I might have learned before this, so Keep an eye out if my plans fall through. I will do the Half-Life stream Saturday night. Keep playing through Half-Life 2. But I won't guarantee it because I don't know for sure. So, anyways, that's all the plans for the next few days. I will wish you all a wonderful evening. You are all beautiful people, and I hope you all live long and prosper. And I'm sending you all love. And someone sent Clayton Berg, you sent a super chat right at the end there, so sending you a heart. Thank you so much for the super chat. You are lovely and beautiful and handsome, if you wish that qualifier as well. Good night, everyone. And now, time to figure out where the live stream end button is. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Here it is. Oh my gosh. All right. Good night, everyone. You are all beautiful.